Hello. I am doing this stream because I saw the Pixel 4 4XL event today, Google's event, and just wanted to kind of discuss that and see what y'all thought and see if anybody wanted to join me. So if anybody's interested in joining the chat, please let me know and I can send you a message in the DMs in the Twitter. If not, I guess I'll just talk. So I saw the event today and I had some thoughts on it and just wanted to give a little input on that and see what you all thought and if anybody wanted to hop on and join me and discuss the Pixel or any smartphone or whatever you want to talk about, basically tech related today. So I think that Google has some work to do, and I hope that they really stepped up their game this year. I'm looking forward to seeing more comparisons. So far, the Pixel 4 and 4XL kind of look like the images are a little flat and lacking some detail in areas compared to even like last year's iPhones. So upset me a little bit because I was hoping that they would step up their game when it came to photography and video so that this year the devices would be better and we would get better video rather than just the same old 1080p and only 4K 30 and lower resolution, higher frame 120 only at 720p. Smaller battery capacity with that high refresh rate could be a problem. And I just feel like they really, really need to step up their game. I wasn't really impressed with the camera samples either. They had Annie Leibovitz come on and she just didn't seem prepared. And I felt like compared to in previous years, the issue is that other companies have knocked their price down on their phones so much that they don't really have anything to compete with. Nothing much, Kenneth. How are you? So I have a bunch of devices. OnePlus 6T, iPhone 11 Pro Max, Note 9, LG G8, Bold N1, that all offer some similar things to the Pixel, and some of them even offer better things. The LG G8 has the telephoto and the ultra wide, and a better display even. One thing that Google didn't really touch on was that the display in the new Pixels is only up to 100,000 to 1. Hi, Joan. And that's a huge deal when they're trying to compete in the iPhone 11 market and the 11 Pro market. And their pricing threw me off too. You can get, so the Pixel 4 is $799 and $899. The 4XL is $899 and $999. So in that realm of things, compared to the iPhone, it starts out at $50, at $100 less For $50 less than the base Pixel 4, you can get the iPhone 11 with twice the storage. If you go to $849, you also get twice the storage of the 124 gig model or 128 gig model of the Pixel 4. And as compared to the 4XL, you can pay $150 less and you get a display that's only 0.2 inches smaller. You get twice the storage. You get a wide angle and a normal lens. You get more bands. You get better carrier support. That's one thing that I didn't talk about. I know a lot of people don't know about the MIMO multiple in, multiple out, and the difference between 2x2 and 4x4. But even the base iPhone 11 offers 4x4 and also offers higher bandwidth for LTE. It was nice to see that they're offering the 4 and 4XL on all carriers, but I think Google kind of missed it this year. They even admitted that they are missing some things and to look forward in updates. But as far as that's concerned, that's a huge issue for me because if you have to wait for that for Google, then you have to wait for that for other devices. So if you're waiting on Google to bring it out, then that means you're waiting on that to come to the OnePlus devices, to Samsung devices, to any other devices that could take advantage of that software. The other concern for me is since it's not hardware based, and I see that as sort of the advantage in competition with the Android devices out there, that because there are so many, you can't price devices too high because you're competing within a market that's so vast that the issue is there's all these other devices that can get the Snapdragon 855. And so they can just port that software over. Like, there's already ports for Gcam 7.1 available for OnePlus and LG and Samsung and all these other devices. So I can basically get all those functions on another device. And if you get the Korean version of the LG G8, you get 3 cameras and you can take advantage of that. And there's people porting over and even moving function to the cameras that the Pixel doesn't have on other devices. I think it was a huge mistake on Google's part. They could have easily taken advantage of the research that other companies have done to determine that people really would rather have a wide angle and ultra wide angle than that telephoto. And I don't know if any of you all realize this, but one thing that I caught on is how they slipped up when it came to mentioning the telephoto and that it's not a true 2 times zoom. They actually use partial digital zoom to get to that 2 times. And so even getting to that what seemed to be kind of impressive zoom when they demonstrated it with the bridge is a concern for me because that is all software based. And with the size of the sensors that they're going with to begin with, where actually each pixel is smaller than most other devices support, trying to pull that much data and zoom that in that far, it's great if you have enough light. But in situations where you don't, that's a concern for me. So having a physical lens that it's there whether you need it or not. It's better to have it and not need it than not have it and need it. And that's my concern. And as Art Dog said, why pay all that money with so many missing things? Exactly. The thing is, we're getting to the end of the year and new processors are going to be coming out, and you're maybe 3 or 4 months away from the next generation of devices that will have the Snapdragon 865, have more RAM, have more storage. Apple can get away with it because they're in a closed market. Their software doesn't run on other devices, so they don't have to worry about somebody porting it to another device. That's also a good thing because you don't have to worry about software that doesn't run well being put on hardware just because it might support it. That's been an issue I've noticed with trying to put the Gcam on other devices. It might support it with an older processor, but I've also seen it crash a lot. But Apple's idea is that they control the hardware, they control the software, so that you don't end up putting software on a device that's not capable of fitting the standards, because to them, that doesn't look good. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm using an iPhone, I'm using an iPhone 8 to shoot this, and it has deep fusion, and it looks like crap," that's going to look badly upon Apple. So that's why they limit some of that stuff to their newer devices, and I can't blame them for that. If Google did that and said, "Hey," they put some sort of uh, like coding in their software so it can't be used on non-Pixel devices. Yeah, some people might be mad, but that could push people to come to them. To me, what was more impressive was the non-Pixel devices. The integration where um, their smart speaker can pick up on if a fire alarm goes off, a smoke detector goes off, your dog's barking can alert you. So then you can call like your local emergency and say, "Hey, my fire alarm went off at home, my smoke detector went off at home. Can somebody come check that out?" Or my dog's barking like crazy. So then you pop in and check in on your cameras. Or, your cameras alert you. And now one thing that they did kind of change that I guess I'm happy with is they have software that provides a service for um, you to be able to link cameras up. And previously you paid per camera. Now it doesn't matter if you have 2 cameras or 10 cameras, it's the same cost per month. So I think that's a huge advantage. And they need to step up their game because, for example, any samples that I've seen so far have looked like crap. I'll just be honest, they look pretty flat. They look, um, yeah, they darken things too much in some areas, in some photos, and then in other cases, they brighten things up too much, which I've noticed as a commonality when I've seen comparisons between like the Note 10 Plus and the new iPhones. The iPhones are darker, but they do that to maintain detail in the shadows. I've seen the same thing with OnePlus phones. I feel like actually OnePlus impressed me more than any other so far with their change in their leap between generations. I feel like they're actually starting to step some things up. And that concerns me, and video concerns me. 4K 30 frames per second on the back, but no 4K on the front. No 60 frame per second in it, whether it's 4K or 1080p. Also, the high frame rates are limited to 720p at 120 frames per second is on the front, and on the back 1080p, where Apple manages to go up to 4K 120 frames per second and 1080p 240 frames per second for extended dynamic range as well. And that just concerns me. I don't really understand where they're headed with some of this stuff. And it really has me wondering what Google was thinking. They need to go back to the ideas that they had in the Nexus line, and they need to go back to the ideas that they had previous years, and they need to look at pricing as well, because to me, their older devices are going to outprice their newer devices. You can go buy a Pixel 3 XL right now for under half the price of the Pixel 4 starting, and you can go buy a Pixel 3a XL and get all of the advantages of the camera. You might not get as fast a processor for even less than that, and that's concerning to me. I know that they offer some advantages, like the faster updates, and they offer some things that the iPhone doesn't offer, and they offer some things that other companies don't offer. But they didn't talk about those things. They went on so much about the camera, but then they pointed out where it was lacking. They're like, oh, and one more thing. You see this photo and how it's lacking in the shadows, but is okay exposure in the dark star and then in the stars? Yeah, that's the best we could do. The iPhone's night mode is able to do that too. If you look at the long exposure that other companies are using, it's the same thing. So that concerns me as well. And then pricing. I mean, shoot, you could go buy. I have two phones you could buy. The Note 9 at around $400 now, and the G8 at 500, and you could be priced easily with more storage around the same price as the Pixel 4 or 4 XL, and both of those screens on here are bigger. 6.4-inch screen, 6.3-inch, about the same size or bigger. And the Pixel Buds were pretty impressive, though, to see them finally go fully wireless. I'll be curious to see, will that activate Siri? Will they work with Siri? Will they support other, like, will they support Siri? Will they support Amazon Alexa? Or will it only support Google? And what I would really like to see Google do, if they really wanted to compete, is step up their game on other devices as well. So those things that they're offering on their own devices, offer that to other devices. Say, hey, if you buy our Pixel Buds, because you're not going to convince somebody to buy Pixel Buds and buy a Pixel just so they can get that support with the Pixel Buds. But if I could use my iPhone 11 and trigger Google with the Pixel Buds, that would be awesome. And it wouldn't be that difficult to do, because like Google Photos runs in the background. So their Google app could run in the background. Apple allows the microphone to be used. You can trigger Siri to launch Google and then use the OK Google command to launch whatever you want to do.
Geeksforgeeks.org, they say, more command is used to view the text files in the command prompt, displaying one screen at a time in case the file is large.
That triggered my speaker there. Hey Google, stop. Sorry if I triggered any of your devices there. That wasn't my intention at all. If any of you have anything you'd like me to talk about, or if any of you would like to jump on with me, let me know. I'll send you a link to the broadcast on Twitter DMs. We can talk about anything. I mean, we can talk about why iPhones suck. We can talk about why OnePlus sucks. We can talk about why Samsung sucks. We can talk about why any of those companies are awesome. We can be positive. We can be negative. Whatever direction you want to go. I'm just kind of chilling here. So. whatever you all want to experience or do, just let me know. So, back to kind of talking about cameras. I've been doing some testing and I've noticed some things. I've noticed, for example, that um, when I've been using my Note 9 to do these comparisons with videos and photos, I found them to be very similar to the samples that I've seen on the Note 10. So that's kind of concerning. I feel like companies are running out of ideas. People kind of harped on Apple for saying they're not innovating, yet all these other companies continue to do the same thing. Yeah, the iPhone might look the same, like this. Um, doesn't look. Let me turn the brightness down there. That doesn't look any different than the previous ones, but a lot of it is not just software integration, it's the actual hardware and how they tuned things. Google doesn't talk about that. They don't show that. And the other concern I have is their hardware isn't even in line with some of the phones that are the same price or cheaper. The contrast ratio is lower. The quality of materials that they use is lower. There's no Dolby Atmos on the speakers. They don't include a dongle, which every company stopped doing. They don't even include any headphones, USB-C headphones in the package. Shoot, even Apple included lightning earbuds in the box so that you could use your device without having to buy headphones. You could open the box, you had the charger, the power block, you have earbuds that work out of the box. Google didn't even say if they were including the fast charger with the devices. They didn't say anything about have they improved charging speeds. No, it's still 18 watt. Yeah, other companies have done that too. But here's the thing. You can get a OnePlus 7, OnePlus 7T, OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus 7T Pro, depending on the market, and get faster charging. You can get 30 watt charging or the new 30T charging. Um, Samsung phones have gone down in price. So for $50 more than the base price of the new Pixel, so for halfway between the Pixel 4 64 and 128 gig model, you can actually get, I've seen the Note 10 Plus, 256 gigs of storage, 8 gigs of RAM for $850. Still in the box, brand new, ready to go, unlocked. So, as you guys can tell, this was titled my smartphone rant. And if any of you missed any of this, I will be putting this up as a replay as well. If any of you have any questions you'd like to post or like to jump in with me, let me know. If not, like I said, I'm just going to try to be chilling here. Let me check, see some things. Hey, Tanna, what's up? Hey, you want to join me for a little bit? Let me send you, hold on here. I'm going to send out some invites here. So I'm just concerned for the smartphone market in general. I feel like companies have hit their apex and kind of stopped progressing. And that really concerns me because I've seen it. I mean, it's funny because people say the iPhone doesn't change. Yeah, it doesn't change looks. But some of the stuff that they've done with hardware and software is amazing. And I don't know where Google's going. I feel like they stepped things back. They removed the notch, which is good. But then they removed the front facing speakers. They don't offer some of the things that even cheaper phones offer. And as far as their advantages with cameras, I feel like that's just not enough anymore. If any of you all saw my SNTF Saturday Night Tech Fight with Tech King Mike a couple weeks ago, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, so about a week and a half ago, one of the questions was, do smartphones or do cameras make the smartphone? And my argument was that they don't. And so here's my reasoning why. The Pixel has been known as having one of the best cameras. A lot of people will say that for years now, yet they don't sell very well because of other things. Like, I don't know if them being offered on new on multiple carriers will help. It'll be interesting to see if the Pixel 4 and 4 XL sells better now that it's available on all devices. Or if it will continue in the direction it was and they'll just kind of sell okay. And that concerns me because I was hoping this year would be the year that Google convinces me to buy a Pixel. Since it's going to be available on AT&T, I am tempted just to buy the Pixel 4 64 gig. That's the other thing. There's nothing this year that differentiates between the 4 and 4 XL other than screen size by what, 0.6 inches? 5.7 versus 6.3 inch. And that concerns me. Yes, Perspective Tech, it's always the same people in live stream, but this is only my second live stream. It's pretty cool to see you all in here, especially names that I haven't seen in here before. Last time I did a stream, I think there was 2 people on here, so it's pretty cool to see y'all joining in. And if any of you want to join me, send me a DM on Twitter. I'm not going to be on for super long. I know other people will be on, so if any of y'all want to jump on, if any of you all, I give you a challenge. If any of you all can convince me why I should buy the Pixel 4 or Pixel 4 XL, and then explain to me why the Pixel 4 XL is an option this year, why they didn't just release one device and just have it as the Pixel 4 with the large screen and put the price down low enough that people will buy it, because now this year the devices are identical other than the screen size. No differentiation in cameras, no differentiation in the look on the front, no differentiation in screen quality. They don't have headphone jacks. The only difference is battery size, screen size, and that's it. That's what concerns me a little bit. And yeah, people will say, well, that's the same thing as the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. True, but they also have the 11 that they threw in there at the lower price range to compete in there. Samsung did the same thing. They have the S10e, but that doesn't have the same cameras on the front. That also doesn't have the same fingerprint scanner. The S10 and S10 Plus have the advantage of more cameras on the front. They have the under the screen fingerprint reader. They have curved screens. They have bigger batteries. They have faster charging, I do believe. Every other company differentiates when they come out with multiple models in a series, but Google just comes out and says, here's the 4 and 4 XL. And even in their own demonstration, they said, this is what we're lacking. What company comes out and does that and says, oh, these things are supposed to be great, but here's where we suck at? Like, can you imagine if Google came out? Actually, I want to do a video on this, so I'm going to leave. I don't really want to. Can you imagine if they came out and tried to sell us a bottle of water in 2 different sizes, in 3 different flavors, basically like Google did with the Pixel and Pixel XL? We have 3 different colors, 2 different sizes, and said, but one more thing, the water tastes disgusting. Like, who would buy it? You're going to buy the bottle, but not what's in it? What's the point? I can buy this bottle from other companies, and I can buy mostly what's in it from other companies. That's the 4 and the 4XL. I can buy all that same hardware, if not better, from another company for less, with just as good of cameras, if not better cameras. And that's disappointing to me. Hey, Tech King Mike, the guy who made me famous. Thanks, brother. So that's my concern. Why? Why? Just why Google? Like, last year you had me this close to being able to say, I found the perfect basic Android device with updates. I found the perfect, vanilla Android. It doesn't have all this stuff thrown on it. It has good cameras, it has good software, decent battery life, good speakers, good screen, doesn't have the curved screen, doesn't have an S Pen, doesn't have any extra stuff, just the basics, the things that I like about having an iPhone. And Google gets me this close. And then this year says, we're going to stomp all over it. We're going to make it so you don't want to buy the Pixel this year. And that throws me off. That concerns me a lot. Like, tremendously concerns me. So, I don't know. I don't understand what some of these companies are thinking. As I said, and I think it was Versatile's post, or maybe it was in a comment to Tech King Mike. I don't know what Google is smoking. I really don't get it. Like, why? I can get everything, if not more, that Google has in their phone in this device right here, OnePlus 6T. I get 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. Get 2 more gigs of RAM and twice the base storage of the Pixel 4 or the Pixel 4 XL, and I get a 6.4-inch display. Yeah, it has that little dimple in the top. It has the Snapdragon 845, not 855, but you can get the OnePlus 7 for that. Updates come pretty fast. Cameras are really good. They'll get even better once Android 10 comes to it. I've seen the demos. That's the advantage with Android 10 on some of these phones. That's where Google's advantage of Android 10 on the Pixel phones are. They use new depth sensing technology that's built into Android 10, and we knew that the new Pixels were going to have dual cameras because it was brought in the code for Android 10. We knew this before it happened. We saw it. Yet Google's like, "Oh, we can just offer you this and we don't really care if you buy it or not because we have good cameras, but if your product doesn't sell, your research and development's going to suffer." I don't know. To see people come out who are die-hard Android people, I've seen them come out and admit that even the iPhone 11 is up there. It's disturbing. Yes, I love my iPhone because it does what I need it to do, but I also like my Note 9 because I can do this. I can create a note right there. I can use Dex mode. I can do all these things. And I can get this for cheaper than the Pixel phones. Yeah, Reynaldo, they're trying to appeal to the masses of people, but how are they trying to do that by selling a device that's competing with more expensive devices and competing with cheaper devices, but doesn't offer as much as some of those things? LG, perfect example right here. Right here. Perfect example. LG G8 has wave your hand over and do stuff. People don't use it. I've seen the videos of the 4 and 4XL where they're in the demo rooms and they're doing stuff and it doesn't work every time, or it doesn't even work 2-3 times in a row. It's a novelty that's going to wear off. Yeah, the face unlock is awesome, but I've seen fast. This phone right here. This phone right here. OnePlus 6T. Really fast face unlock. Small few of people who are upset. I don't know. I think more people will be upset if they have a Pixel 3, 3A, 3A XL, 3XL, and go to upgrade to the 4 and realize that they're not getting much. And even the people that love Pixels are talking about how we're towards the end of the year. Yeah, it is time. It's time to get ready for 2020 line of phones. That's my point. Like, Google had all year to plan for this, and no Dolby Atmos, no included earbuds, no Wi-Fi 6, no high-speed LTE. They're using old generation. They're not even using Cat 18 or Cat 19. Like, people don't need to know these specs, but they'll notice it in day-to-day use. 100,000 to 1 contrast ratio on the display, they're going to notice it when they take it outside and try to use it in the sun and try to use it to take those beautiful HDR photos when they can't see it in the sun, because in the sun it looks like this, dark, compared to looking like super bright and legible in the light. They're going to notice it when the battery life is suffering because they're at Perspective Tech. The question is, will they come up with another A-line for the 4? I think not, because they shot themselves in the foot with how well the 3A is, arguably. They're going to drop the 4 A-lines by March or April. Reynaldo. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that's why they keep doing what they're doing, because the A-line sells enough that it subsidizes the lack in sales of the major line, so that they can continue to try to change and compete in that. But the issue, well, like I was saying, is, what was I saying? Shoot. Oh, when people go to use the device, I think they'll notice. I think they'll notice that a 2700 milliamp hour battery, a 2800 milliamp hour battery, and a 3700 milliamp hour battery, when they go to use that 90 hertz screen, it's the issue. The pick with the OnePlus 7 Pro and the OnePlus 7 Pro T and the OnePlus 7T all have that 90 hertz display. A lot of people who don't care about features. There's a large number of people who want to have stock Android and live that way. But they'll notice when their battery's suffering, and they'll notice when they can't use it outside because the display isn't as bright, and they'll notice other things. Yeah. That's why I have more than one phone too. Hey.
What's up, boy? What's going on? You got to send me a link. You know, I got to show up for my buddy. I got to show up for the champ, you know.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, oh man, oh man. You got the stream popping. I see you got comments flowing. This is what's up.
It is. I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know. Hopefully the chat can hear you.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. How about now? How about now? 1 2 1 2. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know.
Actually, all right. Let me switch headphones real quick.
Okay. What's good, stream?
There we go. Actually, I'm not even.
Oh, he got the deluxe headphones on now. Okay.
That should be better.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot.
Oh, yeah, much better.
All right, beautiful. Thanks a lot, Perspective Tech. Cool. Yeah, audio is the key. Audio is the key. Well, man.
So, Tanna, what do you think about these new Pixels? What do you think? I was disappointed. I was actually hoping. So, here's the funny thing.
What's up?
Most people might say I'm an Apple eye sheep or something.
Oh, well, really?
But here's the thing.
Right.
Actually, here's the 3 things.
Got you. Yes, sir.
But here's the other issue. How can I be an eye sheep when,
man,
I have a G8, I have the Bold N1, you know, I have the OnePlus 6T, I have the Note 9, I have all these devices because I got a good deal on them, or like the G8 AT&T had for free.
Exactly. Shoot, you're just being honest to me. You know what I'm saying? You didn't spend a lot of money with Android, so you're not bipartisan or nothing. You just Go with what works for you, which is the truth. You know what I'm saying so far?
I was hoping they convinced me this year. I was hoping that they would come out with something, because like last year, like I said, I was that close. I just wanted that one little extra, like, I was hoping that maybe when they came out with the extra cameras this year, that they bumped up their video game. Like,
Right.
like they would come in. I don't know if you saw, I think it was Mr. Who's the Boss was gonna do, and a couple other guys that were coming on that were doing videos. They were being ironic, and they shot 4K 60 frames per second with the iPhone 11 reviews of the Pixel 4.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah, there it is.
like that's the thing. Like, it's why for the longest time I carried two phones, because my iPhone got better video, but I still wanted that extra when it came to stills.
Right. The still photography at Samsung and the Pixels are excellent at that. So
And now this year with the 11 Pro, I got it in my pocket, and that display. I mean, I've been in bright sunlight, and I can read anything on that beast.
beautiful.
And then Samsung comes out and says we're going to do a 100,000 to 1 aspect contrast ratio. So you're going to be able to take these beautiful photos, but how are you going to see them?
Exactly.
Like, that's my concern. Like, I'm going to have to.
Yep. Put some shade over the screen and everything. Yeah. But what I saw from the event and the phones was pretty much Google trying to overhype the gestures and stuff. And I'm like, that's so 2010. We're so beyond gestures. So don't be trying to spend 30 minutes on a gesture or them ugly earbuds. Damn that. Bring the heat.
Yeah. The S4 had gestures like that. Like, you could wave your hand and do stuff. Motorola's done gestures.
Yes.
Exactly. My G8 has gestures, and those are just awful. Like, it's the sensors. It's the sensors they're using, because it's not the radar. It's like infrared.
Yeah.
So the radar will be better, and I'm glad to see a company finally step it up when it comes to facial recognition.
Yeah,
where it's not just a camera. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna throw some second camera on here and try to use those, because you can trick it.
Exactly.
I've seen it done with video. I've seen it done where somebody took two pictures and put them side by side and tilted them, and it tricked because it picked up on both cameras. I've seen it done with all sorts of things. I've seen somebody do it with a mirror. Actually, you can trick the iPhone with a mirror if you hold it close enough. But good luck. I mean,
true that. Because it's reading all the digital. I mean, all the information from your facial features, and that's what it is. So yes, it'll be easy to get up in there or trick you real fast.
I'm glad to see that they're coming out with something that uses that 3D. Because the other thing that's interesting, I don't know if you saw this, but did you know that there's no fingerprint scanner on the new Pixels?
I noticed that. So they went pure iPhone with this, so to speak.
Yeah, and then they took the square, but they went two cameras and they went sideways, so they did like this without that camera.
Right. Yep. Went horizontal. Yep.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't know if you've caught my tweet earlier. I'm like, I'm harping on this Pixel, but Google, if you want to send me one.
I feel you. And I know Xfinity Mobile reached out to me to try to send me one. They're interested in. They asked me, was I interested? I said, yeah, I'll let the tech do the talking. I'm not going to bash it before I try it, but off of looks and the way they presented it with the draft presentation, it didn't get me, say amp for the device like a Apple or a Samsung event. They get you ready to buy the device right then and there. Yeah. So, what I'm saying? The Google presentation was really dry. I needed some lotion on it.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. So I was a photography major, so it was cool to see Annie Leibovitz up there. But she was it was like they didn't prepare her. It was like they kidnapped her off from a bus and threw her up there, and it was like, you are gonna say this phone is awesome.
Right.
You are gonna say this phone is awesome. And then you notice something.
What's up?
Most of the presentation, she's talking about last year's Pixel. And she's talking about getting used to using it. And then once she finally got used to using it and they gave her like the 4 this year, like a couple weeks ago,
Right.
then she was able to use it. But like to me, that was disheartening. I'm like, I wonder what would have happened. Like, I'm be curious, like if Apple gave her an iPhone, would it have been easier for her because they do so much automatic? That's the thing too. Like it was awesome. It's awesome to see those sliders.
Mm-hmm.
But here is where I think that the Pro and Pro Max and even of the base 11 comes in as a professional phone. You get the Pro functions without having to be a pro. You get the smart HDR. You get night mode. And then you get the halfway in between of the whole deep fusion that works in like the mid light.
Facts.
And you don't have to adjust it, but you can. Like, I can go on my iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Preach. Because I made videos on this. Preach.
I can go on my iPhone.
Yes.
I'm using 13.2, the beta.
Mm-hmm.
I can go on my iPhone. I can swap.
There you go.
Right there, I can swap some stuff.
Right.
I swipe up. I can turn flash on and off. If I'm in, let me go back to photos and swipe up. I can change my night mode.
Mm-hmm.
I can change the seconds on it.
Yeah, the timer. Yes, sir.
You can turn it off even.
Yes. Yes.
You just can't turn it on, but like, what if you accidentally turn that on and you didn't mean to? Like, the whole idea is that it can do it for you and be smart for you, and you don't have to know what to do.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And then, as being a photography major like yourself, the Pro Series, the one that you have, come with Filmic Pro. So that means you can definitely do everything to tweak your camera just the way you want it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that update actually. And you know what's funny to me is that Filmic Pro is cheaper on the iPhone than it is on Android.
For real?
I think so. I think when I looked for it on Android, let me double check real quick so I don't lead anybody astray.
Because I paid $15 for mine on iPhone. Yeah, okay, we're both looking.
Okay, it's the same price now. They must have, because when I looked originally when Apple did that, when they were talking about it, it was $15 on the iPhone, but it was $29.99 on my Note 9.
29. Damn.
I was like, why is it twice as much?
But they get you with this though. See, you download the regular version for $15. Then you go into the color grading and stuff. Then they say, well, for $13, you can have these features. So you're gonna end up paying what, $27 or $28 altogether and everything. So yeah, they're gonna get you one way or the other to spend almost $30. But it's worth it, especially if you're a content creator to have your video and film looking just like that from a smartphone. I love Filmic Pro.
I'm looking forward to using it because I can prop my phone up on a tripod, and I can do my product review and my face at the same time without having to set up multiple cameras and do stuff. You can switch from like zoomed in to wide, you can switch between all those. And I'm not sure yet, like, if you're going to be able to use, I think you're going to be able to use up to 3 at a time. So you can do like wide and crop and telephoto, or ultra wide or ultra wide and telephoto and but I don't think you can use all 4, but I wouldn't see a need for that. Like, you're either going to be wide and telephoto or ultra wide and telephoto. Like, I wouldn't see you using all 3 and your face at the same time necessarily. Although in their demo, it looked like it.
Yeah, it did. And that'd be dope for editing, so you can get that close-up shot or whatever, the wide shot for different parts of your video. Yeah, for editing, that seems pretty damn cool. Hey, Adrian, how you doing?
I just saw her pop up in here. I know there's a delay between YouTube and StreamYard, but it seems to be working pretty good so far.
Yeah.
And I'm just on the free version, so
hey, it's cool. That's how I started out on the free version first.
I don't want to necessarily pay for it if I'm not gonna get the advantage of taking use of it. The stream's going pretty good, so I'm excited.
Exactly. That's
I
what's
did
up.
my first stream not about a month or so ago, and it was like just me trying to talk to myself, and I was trying to come up with stuff to say. So I ended up like 20 minutes in canceling it and deleting the stream because it was like there's nothing, like I'm rambling talking to myself.
It happens. It happens.
So
it happens, bro. Trust me. This is one of the hardest things to do in life. That's why I always say you got to have guts to do this. You know what I'm saying? To be a content creator and to do a live stream, you got to have a lot of guts. Hey, it's worth it at the end of the
day. Guts, grace, and glory.
True that.
Man, oh man, everybody's on here. Trenton's on here. Adrian's on here.
You the man.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, you the man. You the champ, bro.
And for anybody watching, I will be posting this for replay afterwards, so anybody can catch it afterwards. And I'll also make sure to throw the link to Tanna's channel and Reynaldo and Adrian and Trenton and others in the description as well. So your beats, man, I've been every time I watch Eric's videos, I'm man. This beat by Tanna So. Yes.
Appreciate it, my dude. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate the support from guys like you and from Eazy and from Alter Tech and everything. I just decided to come up with a beat site for content creators with a introductory price of $2 per royalty-free beat to download. You know what I'm saying? I'm industry and Grammy nominated, Grammy award winner, work with a lot of people and everything, but I know that everybody don't have the bands like that to get the beats, but still they want the quality and deserve the quality for their videos. So I came up with chosenbeats.club. So for $2 a beat, you can go ahead and have that heat in the background of your videos, sir.
That's cheaper than the beats that Apple sells, and I'm talking about.
Right.
Although these are skull candy. These are the Hesh 3s, and I love them.
Oh, those banging?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I went and plugged those in, and I was like, I can actually hear him. I was using the AKG, Samsung that they threw in with all like the Note 8, Note 9, Note 10. And I was like, what the heck happened? As soon as I plugged these in, I had to turn you down. So
yeah, Skull Candy is a beast when it comes to some of their headphones.
Man. I can hear that bass. I mean, they're wireless if I want them to be. Right. I got a good deal though, because they had them at Myers and they were like, I think they've gone down now, but these are the Hesh 3 wireless, and I got them for like $90. And at the time, they were selling for like $130 was the cheapest.
Nice, yeah, because it was like $159.
Yeah. So Adrian says she needs her own beat.
All right. We got specials for those too. You know what I'm saying? If people want their own beats or want to buy the beats out exclusively, it's gonna be a different price, but you're gonna get what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Tech4YourNeeds hit me up with I don't know if you saw my new logo there.
Oh.
My MPTT logo that's in my channel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he set me up with that, and he's gonna help me with an intro and outro too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see that. So
dope, man. Yeah.
And obviously, I have to do the corny thing right now, and I have to say, for anybody watching who's not subscribed, hit that button down below. I'm trying to make it to 150. I'm at 140. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, very impressive, man.
I mean, it's been less than a year than I started, and I've majorly been doing it for like the last 4 months. So, and I was at like 20 views when I mainly started. So,
wow,
to see it spike like that's been awesome.
Wow.
And I mean, it's Tech King Mike, Eric at Eazy Computer Solutions. I know you've been tweeting out some of my stuff.
Oh yeah.
I kind of comment on Adrian's stuff just because it's fun to piss her off.
You hear that, Adrian?
Hey, she knows I love her.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. Yeah, she's awesome. She gets me cracking up all the time. She knows. Gigi
Yeah.
knows. I mean, those girls.
Yeah. Yeah, but you've been doing everything right though. Your content been pretty relevant and everything. Also, like you say, you've been in the right circles, saying the right stuff, and then you represented real tough on that battle, on the fight. You did your thing, bro. So yeah, success is coming to you. I believe in you.
That was fun.
Yeah, man. You did your thing, boy. You kept me laughing. I tell you that damn much.
All I gotta say is, if I get to battle LB, he better not limit his flavors at 250 because he's gonna need to make another custom flavor for 251.
Oh man.
It was fun to watch though.
Oh yeah, very fun.
And I like that there's no ties because I feel like that drags things out long. Like if that would have happened, I feel like LB and John would have ended up at a tie at the end somehow.
I heard, because I came in at the end of it because I was out doing some stuff with my nephew here in town playing pro ball and stuff. So I came in at the end of it after it was over, and they said, "Man, you missed it. It was tied up until the last round." And I'm like,
And then John pulled that out of nowhere. He had to battle himself, basically.
"Yeah, whoa."
Because
Yeah.
LB threw facts at him because John had just done a video answering that question like a week beforehand, and LB came back at him with those exact points. So John basically had to throw shade at himself to win, and he somehow managed to do it. But I think it's because LB used the points, but he didn't exactly know how to like extend beyond the main bullet points, where John knew what he meant, so he could come back against it and clarify. And that's what I did too. Most people probably don't realize this, but yeah, my first round was awful. I was all over the place, I wasn't used to it. I wasn't in it. My heart was racing. I was ready to go. Then that second round, when I knocked him out, I actually had to go against my own point. I had to do the exact same thing that John did to take LB down, except for I had to figure out how to do this. I'm like, I got to pull this out of nowhere because this is not what I believe.
Right.
And it was so much fun, and it was so awesome.
Yeah,
and, I mean, I've gotten so much attention since it. Versatile's helped me out. He's offered. He's like, if you need anything, because I know he's got himself some views. So
yeah.
And not saying I take advantage of it, but we do. Like, if I'm on a channel like this and you're on here and people see that you're on here and it spikes up my views, or people see Adrian's on here or Tech King Mike or Reynaldo or anybody else out there, they follow him and they see me pop up, or one of them says, "Hey, come check this out." It helps me, and I'm going to take that help. I'm not too humble to not accept the help, but I'm also not too arrogant to say, "Well, I can do this on my own,"
Right.
I am, but I'm not. Obviously, if I have crap content and can't talk and don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to get the subscribers. I've lost subscribers. I've gained subscribers. People aren't going to I don't want people to subscribe just to subscribe. I want them to subscribe because they like what I'm doing. I'd rather sit here at 140 today for the next month than get up to 1,000 tonight just because people are going to click on. I want them to, I want them to be part of the family because they want to be,
Absolutely. Boy, you sound like me. It's like, to me, I got 2,500 subscribers. A lot of people say, "I thought you had more," but I got 2,500 real subscribers. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the fly by your night subscribers or nothing like that. I want the real people that's really into what I do and that interact with me like that. So I definitely feel you on that. No question about it. And then also when it comes to like working with people and getting help, nothing wrong with that. I still get help. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that it takes a team effort to make something go. You can't do it by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people try to do it by themselves, but they end up stressing themselves out and their views and everything plummet, or whatever business they into plummet. It always takes a damn team. You know what I'm saying? You look at a regular business company, let's say Burger King. You got the owner, the franchise owner, the presidents or whatever, the supervisors, and then the employees. That's a team. to make that whole company go. It's the same thing whether we're doing YouTube or music or whatever in life.
You know, I just thought of something funny.
What's up?
So there's no I in team, but you can rearrange the letters to make mate. As in mate, as in, well, that's kind of an English thing, but you know, hey mate,
Like
but,
friend.
like friend, companion, you know. So to me, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, the thing that's great to me is all these people that are helping me along aren't too afraid to prop me up, because they're not, because like some people might be like, oh, what if I help him out? Then he's competition. Well, no, not really, because I don't do anything like anybody else does, hopefully.
Right.
I feel like, you know, Tech King Mike, for example, he just broke 1,000 the other day, right?
Yep.
So for a lot of people, he might, you know, that's huge to me. Now, for some people like Jay Williams, he has, what is he up to, 105,000 or whatever now?
4,000. Yeah. Yep.
But Tech King Mike isn't too, you know, he's humble enough to say, I'll help you out. You're not going to knock me down by me helping you. As a matter of fact, that's going to help him out, because then I'm going to give him props. So if I get 200 subscribers, let's say I make it up to 200 subscribers fast now. What if 50 of those are 50 that aren't subscribed to Tech King Mike? So then I give him props, or I mention his name and I put his link. They go over and subscribe to him. So he gained 50 subscribers just by helping me out a little.
Pretty much. Good karma. Great energy. Yes,
that's what happens.
Yep, absolutely.
My dad has always said this. He said, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Facts.
And a lot of times that's huge.
Yes. Big time, big time.
And Twitter has helped me out. I never used to use Twitter. I had no idea. I was like, what is this all about? Like, what's the big deal? And yeah, it's still confusing, because like somebody comments on something. I don't know, like, is there a way, do you know this? Is there a way on Twitter
What's up?
like, can you, if somebody comments, can you get back to the main post easily? Or do you have to
click,
just figure out how to get?
You have to click on the arrow to the far end right.
Exactly.
That's how you do
okay.
it.
I was going to say, because I always end up scrolling.
That's how you get to the thread. Give me 1 second.
And trying to figure out how the heck I'm going to get to the main point. I'm like, somebody made a comment, but what are they commenting on? I need to know so it makes sense. Like, they're commenting on one of my tweets, but I just tweeted like 10 times today. So what are they commenting about? So hopefully, so that helps.
And I definitely feel you about Twitter, because let me tell you a story. Well, while you're saying you got 100 and something subscribers, don't even trip on that. Just keep going, because when I have 400 something subscribers, or just 400 flat, or 3 with a 90 or something like that, around 400, I got a text or a private DM on Facebook. One of my subscribers said, man, go ahead and check your Twitter, because I didn't even bother with Twitter. To me, I'm just a regular guy. I'm like, Twitter, whatever. So Xfinity Mobile tagged me into a message or some, a post or whatever, and saying that they wanted to work with me in the inbox on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And I only had 390 or 400 subscribers or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how big Twitter's been. And ever since then, I've been on Twitter quite a bit more, because now I see how companies move and how they look at Twitter, especially when it comes to the techosphere. So I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? At first, Twitter like, nah, but Twitter is the truth, and it's a big help for us.
Well, and unlike Facebook and Instagram and some of those things where people have to like follow you, they can just find you in other people's stuff.
Right.
Like, and if you comment on something that somebody else commented on, it links you together. That's how I found other people. Like, I was like, why is this tweet? Like, why is this post here? Like, I don't remember following them. Well, it's because somebody else who I do follow commented on their thing. And so it's one of those huge deals to me.
Exactly.
Man, oh man, everybody's on here. This is awesome. It's like, y'all, did It's like I want to say this because it's funny. I'm like, you realize I'm Michael Pepper, not Tech King Mike, right? Like,
Here we go.
like
Here
did the
we
name
go.
get confused or what happened? No,
You the champ, man. You the champ. Hey, people respect you, bro. You drop great content. You're a good person.
Oh, I see Trenton on here. He wanted to know which phone we were ranting about. I was ranting about the new Pixel. I was ranting about phones in general, just feeling like wondering where they're going to go, what they're going to do, are they going to make things better? So if he's curious, I guess we can talk about it again. I mean, it doesn't hurt. So I was just kind of telling Tanna how I felt, and I don't know, how did you feel?
So what about the Pixel phone?
Yeah.
I got to get it in my hand and work with it, but I'm not that impressed with it, especially by the dry presentation of it. But it did have some stuff that made me go, okay, that'd probably be cool. You know what I'm saying? But I got to get my hands on it. I like to let the tech do the talking. The color wave, it's pretty cool. I'm glad it didn't come out with that green. Thank God.
And the orange was interesting. Oh, so orange. It's like
orange.
The funniest comment I heard today was it's the creamsicle color.
Yeah, perfect description of it. And it's only available in 64 gigs.
Well, it was available in both, but not very long on AT&T.
Because I went to Xfinity Mobile, they just had that boy in 64 gigs, and that was it.
I went to AT&T, or I went through it. Well, it's weird because it wasn't. I don't know if it is now, but it didn't show up on AT&T's site right away.
Mm-hmm.
But I could find it unlocked on Google's site. The only problem with that is I don't have good enough. I don't have good enough credit for Google, apparently. But I like Dr. Donna Walter's comment. Pixel better sounds like one talking to their wife after a big letdown and asking to give them another chance. Will not be that again. Sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, if I could get my hands on, I might try it. Now that it's available on AT&T and it's available in payments.
Yes.
I am finally getting other phones paid off and dropped off, and I'm going to be. I got my iPhone. I'm just waiting for. So when my wife and I got our new phones, they had the buy one get one plus a $300 Visa gift card. So basically, they give you $700 in credits over the 30 months towards her phone. Man. And then I'm going to use the $300 to finish paying off my iPhone 10, which has a cracked screen. But I'm going to be able to sell that device for about $300. I have somebody already interested in it with the cracked screen because it's the 256 gig model. So for them to get that for basically $600, if they were to go get the screen fixed, that's a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah, it's worth it. No question.
And then I'm going to take that $300 and we're going to pay off my wife's phone. So there'll be two phones dropped off our lines just like that. So I'm going to talk to her. I might get the Pixel. I'm thinking just the 4 64 gig. I don't see any reason going with the XL.
What's wrong with the XL?
It's just a bigger screen. There's no advantage this year.
No. That's where you're wrong.
And bigger battery.
Well, I mean, you got the bigger battery. You also got 128 gigs. You got a 4K display on the XL. The Pixel 4, I mean, the only deal breaker with me is it's only 64 gigs. I wouldn't
128 too.
Yeah, you can get 128 on all of them.
128.
I mean, you could, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's just I've always had XL models, so I kind of want to keep the trend going.
Oh, you're biased.
I might pay that. I might pay the $3.33 a month extra to go to the XL.
I mean, it makes sense. Why not? I mean, you get 128 gigs, you'll get a 4K display. I mean, they both have the Soli radar on them. I mean, it's not like the Soli radar is something that's not going to leave both phones. I mean, the recording, the little dictation app is not going to leave that phone. It's just me personally, I got big hands, so I would rather have the XL model versus the 4. I mean, the 4, I could see me holding that, and it's probably going to be like this essential phone. It's probably going to be tiny in my hand, so ain't no point in me getting that.
Well, what's the resolution on a regular Pixel? I thought it was pretty much the same screen.
I can't remember. I think
2K.
it's not. I mean, I think it's not QH. I think it's QHD on the 4XL.
2K.
The other one I think is I can't really remember. Like I said, Tanner, man, I went to sleep on their ass.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the resolution. I'm trying to find the resolution here on.
Best place to look is going 9 to 5 Google.
On both of them, because as far as I saw, I thought they were the same resolution. I thought they were 1440p.
That's what I thought.
And for Dr. Donna Water, it's $14.99 one time. Once you pay that $14.99, that's pretty much it for Filmic Pro on Android.
Yep, that's it. Yep. You
don't have to pay for it again. They don't come out of nowhere. Hey, we might want to bump that up to 16. You got another $2?
Yeah, it's 1440 by 3040 on the Pixel XL, and the regular one, the Pixel 4, is really. It's not going to tell me that.
What's going on?
Oh, I just did a Google search for it.
Tell me, man. All you got to do is 9 to 5 or GSM. Go to GSM Arena. That's where I always go.
Anyways, I think
they'll tell you pretty much everything.
Our dog said that was probably the most boring event that he's seen. I agree. It was the
boring.
Oh. Sheesh.
They man. I felt like I was at a spa or something. I swear it was. So the resolution on the regular Pixel 4, it's a POLED and it's 1080 by 2280 pixels.
Okay, so
that's still good for that size of that screen.
Yeah.
That's the same resolution as. Funny enough, that's the same resolution as this $200 Bold N1 display.
Get out of here.
Yeah, but I mean,
so it's interesting. It's interesting because
I'm too bold for the bold.
So but the pixel density is huge because that's what I could find. So it's 444 on the Pixel 4, which is funny, and then the 4XL was like 537 pixels per inch.
Yeah. Pixel, Samsung, iPhone, and I think one other company, they always got the highest PPIs. Not too many people got that 5.
So basically they got the same screen as the Note 10, the regular Note 10, pretty much.
Pretty much.
And that's a beautiful display.
Well,
I seen somebody the other night. I was like, "Oh, you got the Note 10 10." He was like, "Yeah, I couldn't get the Plus."
But
right.
But here's where it differs. So the Notes have higher contrast ratio.
True.
They're like 1,000,000 to 1.
Yeah, but
at least
you got to think about it like this, Michael. People, the Pixel, all Google Pixel people, all Team Pixel diehard fans, they don't care about anybody else. Like when people tell them OnePlus, Samsung, Xiaomi, Huawei, and anybody else, they block that out. They like my mom used to say, go in one ear and they come out the other. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna buy the Pixel phones no matter what. You could tell them that Samsung is giving you a gram of some fire if you go pick up the Samsung Note 10. They're still not gonna go buy it. They're always gonna go for the Pixels. The majority of those people, if you look at it at a pi ratio, I guarantee they're probably at like 50 to 60%. Not in Android, but as far as like tech, like not like us, because I think of Pixel like I think of Apple as far as like if I would have put them in the room and picture them as a person, they're very high. Some of the Pixel people are very high class people. So they keep themselves at a high class level.
I'm listening.
So they're the
upper echelon, as you say.
They're like the iPhone users of Android.
There you go.
Makes sense.
So they didn't took over the spot of the Samsung.
The diehard Pixel fans are like Android. I mean, like Apple. Some of them. I ain't gonna say all of them, because you got people like me. Like I'm a diehard Android, no matter what. Like if you throw me an Android, an Apple phone, I'll probably pawn that. But it's like I'm a diehard Android enthusiast, nonetheless. But I like Pixel because of the full stock Android experience. That's why I buy them. I don't care about the screen resolution. I mean, I do care about the screen resolution, but at the end of the day, the refresh rate is something that I really don't care about. I don't care about because it got too because I heard people in some of the communities that I'm in outside of YouTube and Twitter and everybody else. One dude was like, I'm not buying it because I only got 2 cameras on the back. I said, are you serious? That doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it had 1 or 2. That doesn't make or break me as far as me making a purchase. Period.
What I think is interesting will be interesting to see, and I think the reason they differentiated the resolution is because they have 2 things that they're having to deal with: 90 hertz refresh ratio and the battery size.
That too. That's another reason why there's no point in you getting the Pixel 4,
like
because it's 2,800 milliamps.
Yeah,
but there is a way. Even if it is 2,800 milliamp hours, you also got to factor in someone is going to buy that phone because they are someone that doesn't use that much. Now, if you buy a Pixel 4 and you're a heavy app user, or you like to watch YouTube videos, or you like to do a lot of other things on your phone, then the Pixel 4 is not going to be the best one for you. You're going to be complaining every day, man, this shit, I only get like 2 hours, 3 hours. You know, it's going to be a problem.
Well, but I do got to get out my iOS swag because I've been spoiled with the battery life and everything from my 6. Yeah, when you deal with Android, you're right. The battery life is an issue depending on
it depends on your heavy multitasking. See, me, I'm simple. I watch my YouTube videos. I watch a couple of videos on Instagram, maybe a few videos on Twitter recently. Right. I use my phone, like every phone that I have, I actually use them for purposes that I need them for. Like my essential phone is my music phone. That phone is constantly playing music in my kids' room. That phone has no other purposes in life. My OnePlus 6T, I use that phone. That's my main phone until I get either a 7 Pro or whatever. My Pixel 2 XL is my second device that I use. That has the Google Fi network on it, but I also watch videos on that one, and I also use that phone for notes because I actually like Pixels. I like the keyboard. I like the Google Voice. When you get a Google phone, when you get a Pixel phone, that's one thing that a lot of people don't tell you. The keyboard and the voice, like when you're using the voice to record or whatever, it picks your voice up quicker. Like OnePlus, you can hit the microphone and say whatever you want to say in the text, but it's not as quick and responsive as it is on the Pixel. Plus, Pixel has the caller ID. That caller ID, I use that every day. Them robocallers, they be calling me, I be blocking the hell out of their ass with that. It's a ton of reasons why I use my Pixel. You know, I can go on for a while, but I know people in the chat gonna be like, "Nigga, you talking too much." But it's many reasons why I use the phones what I use the phones for.
I'll be curious to see, because one thing that they did that's really intelligent that other companies have done with the high refresh ratios is that it will intelligently, it's not just 60 or 90, it will shift depending on what you're doing.
Exactly.
So, you don't have to just sit there and be like, well, it's going to be at 90 or it's going to be at 60. It will shift in between. So if you're watching video, it can just be at 1. If you're playing games, it can be at another. If you're scrolling through text, it can be lower. So that should help with battery life too. I'll be curious to see. It should, especially with the larger one, it should be really good.
I mean, they like I'm with Tanna. They could at least gave it 3,900 milliamp hours. 39. I mean, I know milliamp hour percentage ratings and as far as them like setting it a certain way, they can't really do it on certain numbers, but they could have gave us something close to 4,000 milliamps. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like they do this. They do extensive research. They say to themselves, what exactly are people going to be doing when they get these phones in their hands? Because, there's a lot of people, like I said, there's a lot of people who don't need 4,000 milliamps. And I know that sounds crazy, but there's a lot of people out there that will say, man, this battery don't never die. I can hear it right now. There's some people who need it. There's some people who don't. Right. Like my Poco phone is just like the Essential phone. I only use my Poco phone for gaming, and if I'm trying to catch because I got multiple YouTubes for multiple Gmails, so I got my international YouTube on there, and I usually watch like a lot of international news as far as like new phones that's coming out, new technology that we're not gonna get in the States, any type of developments in science or whatever. That's it. That's the only thing I use that Poco phone for. I mean, I game on there. I play Call of Duty Mobile. I play PUBG. I play, whatever game I got on there, and that's it. But when it comes to my two main phones, that's the only ones I use them for is what I use them for. I don't use them for nothing else. There's no games on them phones.
For sure. And Tech4YourNeeds said he wants to come on, send him a link.
I sent him a link.
Just
waiting.
All praises.
Waiting to see him pop up in the backstage here.
For sure.
So. Hey. Oh, versatile. This is a winner's stream only. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
The
hell. Shit, I ain't with that.
No.
I mean, but at the end of the day, I just the event was boring as hell. Nonetheless.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, those are the people that's gonna, like Eazy said yesterday, get on your knees and kiss the feet. Like he wasn't playing. Like he was serious when what he said really meant. Like you really got to listen to what he's saying. He's really saying like the people that are ready to give their left arm and 30 quarts of blood for them phones is ready. They ready to do it. I'm not. I'm gonna wait probably another year, maybe a couple of months down the line to get that phone. I'm not gonna buy that phone right now. Hell no, I got a new baby on the way.
Just wait till March till the 4A and 4A XL comes out.
I mean, I was thinking about it, but I'm like, I'm not really. I don't know. I don't see myself getting an A. I might get an A for my wife. I don't really see myself buying an A right now. I mean, I thought about it, but I'm like, nah.
Right. I'm thinking about buying it. I'm thinking about getting a regular Pixel 4, but then after that, they talking about releasing the iPhone SE2. I'm thinking about snatching that, and it's gonna be the size of the iPhone 6. That'll be something I get. I'm very interested in because that's gonna sell a lot of units. And iOS is iOS.
Okay, I gotta pull something up here because this is the phone that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'll show you in just a second here. People are gonna harp on me for it, but
hey.
Let's see if I can. Actually, I'll do this differently. Oh, come on.
You going to a site? Oh, that one.
Yeah, the candy bar looking, the Essential Phone 2. Yeah, if it's priced right, could be interesting.
Yeah, that's a unique phone.
It's
real.
It's in the lines of like
that Essential Phone.
Yeah,
that's a no-go for me. Like Flaws, that's a no-go for me, dog.
That's in the lines of what was that weird that was the Verizon only that was the weird little phone that looked like it had the watch interface.
People don't remember. I know you remember this, Tanner. You remember the Juke?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what that phone reminds me of. It reminds me of the Juke. The Juke. No, the way it looks.
Okay, I'm with you, man.
Not literally how it was made, but the way it looks, it reminds me of the Juke for some odd reason. That's why I don't want it.
Can you imagine if Andy Rubin came out and he's like, we have this new Essential Phone 2. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
What up, Tech4YourNeeds?
What up, Tech4YourNeeds, man?
What up, everybody? Trying to fix this too loud. Almost blow my eardrums.
So what I was going to say is, can you imagine if he comes out and they've been trolling, and the way that they're holding that phone, they slide to the side and it becomes a larger screen, and it's like a competitor to the Galaxy Fold. Can you imagine what would happen? Because if you look at it, how thick that thing looks, and that you only see the front and the one side of it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they're like, you know what, we figured out, you press it like this and this thing rolls open and you have a large device?
A lot of people are saying that that's not even the phone. A lot of people are saying that he's coming out with like some type of like, what is it called? Like some type of, like a sophisticated fitness tracker. Because if you go back and you look at all of the pictures, I didn't really see anything that like, that's what a lot of people are saying. I think it's going to be a phone, but a lot of people out there saying, like a lot of people on Reddit are saying that it might be something different. It might not actually be a phone.
Well, I'm going to see if I can get real quick here. I'm going to pull it up in a different tab or try to share see here if this will show. If you look right by his pinky, it looks like there's two parts to the phone, like it's thick and like it's split.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, like, is this thing going to be like a sliding phone?
Right.
It might be modular.
Like, can you imagine that? What if they figured out a way? You know those old where you'd slide the bottom and the keyboard would come out?
Yeah.
Like all the companies were making those candy bar style where you had the normal like T9 keyboard, but then you slid it to the side and the big old keyboard you could thumb type on came to the side.
Yeah.
What if this was designed and it slid out like that, but instead of another keyboard, it makes the screen wider? Can you imagine?
I was going to say, Mike, do you know about Planet Gemini, the Planet Gemini phone?
Yes.
Have you seen that? I know you have, Tanner.
Right. Don't think I have.
Exactly.
When that phone comes out, a lot of people's going to be buying that phone. And that's coming out next year, too.
Exactly.
Finally.
Exactly. See, there you go right there, Mike Pepper. You know what I'm saying? Like as you say, it's a slim design and everything kind of long. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Looks really interesting, honestly.
The Gemini, what's that?
Planet Gemini. It's I'm not gonna say a foldable phone, but it's a class style smartphone. And it kind of came out in the prototype phase last year. And I remember my boy Michael Fisher had one. And he's waiting for it to come out. But basically, it has a quarter keyboard at the very bottom.
Phone? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like a class. It's like a kind of like a foldable phone, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's like clam style, but it's still the bar shape. All you gotta do is look up Planet Gemini. It'll pop up.
Planet Gemini.
Planet Gemini, and this it has Android on it. I think at the time last year it had it had Oreo on there.
Okay, I got it. I'm gonna put it on the screen right now.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, I'm put it on the
screen. That should be coming out I think that's coming out next year for sure.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. It was the one that
Michael Fisher had it. Michael Fisher talked about it.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Now a lot of people is gonna look at that phone and be like, "Man, nah, man.
Look at that keyboard."
I actually want that phone because that phone that's a nice looking phone.
Wow, look at that keyboard.
Give me 1 second.
That reminds me of there was a company that had a Kickstarter project, I think it was, for the Motorola like Z3 and Z3 Play, where it used the Moto Mod adapter on the back.
Yeah.
And then it had the keyboard that slid out.
Yes.
That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Big time. That look like a sidekick on steroids, right?
I was about to say that looked like a beefed up sidekick.
Good God.
I remember that now.
But we're gonna buy that now. I mean, it's not practical. Everybody's already shifted and they trained to use a touch screen. So, typing might take a little while.
Yeah. Well, that's what he was saying too. He was saying that a lot of people, they might not be able to get used to it, but like that phone is meant for people who miss the keyboard.
Right.
So a lot of people who used to have a phone with a quarter-inch keyboard, they're gonna buy the hell out of that phone.
Yeah.
Because that phone, and then it wasn't the price. like the prototype model, because it was a Kickstarter. I remember they started off as a Kickstarter, then they made the money that they needed, and then they came out with a few units, and a lot of people said that there was some bugs, there was like this and that and this. So what they did was they didn't really make it readily available for the public. So they just said, okay, we're gonna give us another year. So now they're coming out with a newer one that's coming out. It's gonna look totally different from the one that we just seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
But you know what?
That Planet Gemini phone, yeah.
But the best concept of a phone, it never came out, which is called Project Era. That was the best thing. But ain't nobody gonna make that because then people won't buy phones. They just buy different modules and beefed it up. So that's why they canceled that project. Because it's logically it's not gonna make money for the company.
Nokia had a phone. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Nokia had a concept for a phone about 10 years ago. I can't think of the name of the phone, but they had a lot of video. They had a video for it on YouTube and on Facebook a while back. But it was basically a phone that didn't run off of it. It didn't have any type of lithium powered battery in it. But it had a solar panel. Small little solar panel in the phone. And the phone probably wasn't gonna come out. It probably was gonna come out around this time if they were to do it. But even back then, that phone probably wasn't gonna see the light of day for another probably like 10, 15 years. But this is way back. Like I'm trying to think if you can look it up. I think if you type in Nokia sun-powered phone and Nokia solar-powered phone, it might pop up. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, all right, fellas, I'm about to bail out. You know what I'm saying? I got to get up in the morning and everything. Man, Mike, thanks a lot for having me on, my dude. I can't wait to stream with you, collab with you again.
Thanks for coming on. I'll let you know when I have another one. It probably is going to be not for maybe a week or so. I think Tuesday nights, a lot of times other streamers are on, so it just depends on, if they're going to have streams or not, because I don't want to jump on and, mess with that or have nobody on. So.
Yeah. It's a lot of people streaming right now, though. That's the crazy thing about it. Like, this gang of people.
They getting it in. I'm about to crash.
Thanks, Tanna. Have a good night.
I appreciate it. See y'all later, fellas.
All right.
Catch you, brother. Yeah, but I think but I'm gonna fix it. Yeah, I think the new technology is not gonna be so much about phone. It's gonna be more wearables, in my opinion, because people are trying to find the ease and convenience of not really picking up a phone. They're like sort of like Google, you'd be like, do this, and that, and much easier. Like for example, if you got the Apple Watch Series 5 in your hands and you give it commands, you don't have to use your phone. So therefore, it's easier. That's the thing. The new technology is going that way, in my opinion.
Yeah. They need to do something, man. Like this bar, like every time I look at my desk, I'm like, I got nothing but bar phones. I mean, they're not going to change the design. They're not going to come out with a circular or a rectangular shaped phone, but it's like, it's kind of like with movies. They run out of ideas, so what they do is they keep making remakes. And then after they do remakes, what they do is they go back and they try to come up with a new concept. And I mean, it's just, something new needs to happen. Something new needs to happen, and it needs to happen fast.
It's starting off. I can't hear you.
And then sometimes they end up with remakes of a movie like the all-female cast of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but it's like they really need to change. Like the concepts, a lot of these concepts that are coming out with these newer phones, man, they just need to do something different. Like they really need to like change the game as far as like what they want to do, because it's like it's starting to get old now. It's really starting to get really old. They really don't have any type of innovation anymore. The foldable phone concept is not a bad concept, but we're not ready for that technology just yet. Technology is that's not ready for us yet.
Yeah, and the technology isn't. Yeah, it's not there. It's why like the iPad concept has been out since like the 70s, when like the late 70s, early 80s, when Next came out with the Next, before the Next tab was even really a thing.
Yeah.
But it took 20 years before it could even come to fruition or anything.
I can honestly predict this. I probably see foldable phones coming back into the form probably like in the next 10 years. Because the problem is the plastic screen is not going to work. That's not going to work. They need to come up with some type of, the thing about it is the problem that's going to be the number one problem is that there's no type of flexible type of technology that can withstand the amount of folds and not be plastic. There's never going to, they literally have to invent something for the foldable phones in order for them to become popular, which is probably not going to happen because that's going to take so many different, it's going to take a lot of manpower and a lot of money to get that to happen.
What I wonder is, why didn't they just make the crease part out of plastic and the rest of it, like, do a composite screen where, like, the middle crease part that has to flex is plastic, but then do glass on either side so that's durable?
They probably did tests. They probably had different trials where they probably went through so many different glass, and they probably did like different folds from different angles, and they probably like I'm telling you, they spent a lot of man hours on this. I know they did, because it's like it's something that it's not ready yet. No matter what, and it's not gonna happen yet, because it's just that technology is we're not even close to that technology yet.
My concern is, like, I'm going to end up having the world's most expensive sneeze because I'm going to sneeze on the thing, and that just a little bit of moisture is going to ruin the thing if I had a $2,000 phone like that.
I mean, it's bad when you buy a phone and then when you take it out of the box, it says, please do not press too hard, or please do not keep keys or coin. Like, that's just ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. For a phone, that's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And, I mean, what about, like, you don't even have to be near water. You could just be somebody who, you put that thing in your pocket and you sweat a little bit too much.
Yeah, and it breaks. My bad, that's my alarm. I got to go back. No, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. Like that technology, we not even there yet. We're not even there yet. For real. Like, we far from that technology.
I think we're at least 10 years out before we see that.
They're literally, I'm telling you, they're literally going to have to sit down. They're going to have to put a lot of money into a lot of people's hands. And they're going to say, look, this is what we need to do. We want to make these foldable phones something that a lot of people can get a hold of. And we want to bring it to the masses of people. And they're going to have to come up with some type of new type of technology that can bend and fold, but somehow mimics glass some way. That's the only way it's going to happen. Like, they're never going to be able to keep that down unless they do something like that. And like I said, that in turn is going to be like millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Well, and I know that companies are working on it. Apple's been working on patents. They've patented weird, like, flexible glass and stuff. And what I think is going to happen, and, you know, everybody says Apple doesn't do anything first. Yeah. But what I could see happening is, if they have the patent on it, they could be the first ones to do it, because other companies can't do it without paying for the patent, and I don't see Apple licensing.
That's what I see happening. I see Apple they're going to be probably the first ones to do it, and they probably going to be the first ones that everybody's going to remember. Samsung is probably going to be like the Tesla of foldable phone. Like, nobody's going to remember a Samsung. They're going to remember only Apple, guaranteed.
It'll be interesting to see.
But I'm about to jump out because I gotta go back to I gotta go back to work. Trying to come up with some type of sophisticated way of saying work, but basically, my last thoughts, man, is just, you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, Pixel, Google, they have a set of people who buy those phones, and they have a majority of the masses, a small percentage of people who buy them just to test them out. And then they probably end up selling them. But you have people who are diehard fans and they buy them, and it's like that's what they do, man. They keep them, and they no matter what, they'll never upgrade to another phone. They'll never buy another phone. It's like like I said earlier. I mean, it's like iPhone. You got people that's diehard iPhone fans that'll buy every iPhone that comes out, and then you got diehard iPhone fans, or you got iPhone fans that basically just buy whatever phone they like and they keep the iPhone no matter what. Same exact thing with Pixel, and it's been like that since the Nexus. So it's like it's never going to change. We could sit up here and we could debate about this all day, but it's the whole genre is never going to change, no matter what. You got Big Dog. You got Big Dog, and you got a couple other people over here. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh, man.
GJW is like, I've never heard of you. And I just said, hey, I've never heard of you either. So, hey, it happens.
All right. Well, let me jump up out of here. I'll see you. I appreciate Michael for having me on, man. I appreciate it, man.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Have a good night.
Man. Try to make it every Tuesday. Make it every Tuesday thing.
That's my goal, because I noticed there's not a lot of people on then. Wednesday always has Wired Wednesday, and Thursday Jay Williams is on, and then Friday is Weigh In, and Saturday is the Tech Fight. And
so it's
Monday Jay Williams does his Monday smartphone news thing. So Tuesday's a good night. I mean,
perfect night. So, but all right, let me jump up out of here, man. I'll see you. I'll see you later, man. I'll see you later. Thank for your needs, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. Take care.
All right then.
Yeah.
I think technology is changing because I don't think that it's not about really phones. I think it's more about like having the ease of using your phone. For example, like I don't want to be on my phone touching it all the time. So if I could give a comment, or for example, like voice commands for assistant, like do me a text, do me this, do me that, it's 10 times better than always being on your phone. I think that's the way the technology is going for me.
Yeah.
I don't, because, I mean, you could be so much on your phone, but the phones are getting boring. They're plateauing. They're not doing really, the only thing they're doing is foldable. The next thing coming up, and how long is it going to be? Around 5, 6, 7 years from now, and people are going to get bored. It's like with everything. But I think we're going to go more to like a world environment of a world of like voice commands of everything, house, phones, everything. That's just my take. I don't know your opinion on that, but that's what I think.
I don't know. I think that we're going to see companies go in a different direction first. Like Microsoft is doing that weird like 2-in-1 screen thing. But I think the advantage of that is they can see if people are going to use if they're going to even use that multi-screen technology, and then for developers to be able to create and adapt to that dual screen and that converting from going from one screen to two screens, from a smaller to a larger screen and then back again, to develop that with the technology that we have, that's okay with like the dual screen. I mean, ZTE tried to do that with their Axon M and it kind of didn't go anywhere. But if more companies were to do that first, I can see that helping developers create the apps. So then though, at least those apps exist. So when the newer technology of along the lines of the Fold comes out, the app development exists. It's not, having to wait around for companies to develop the software and waiting on the developers. It's ready. It's kind of like how, Apple released the iPhone and then all these developers got on board and then they waited. And then when the iPad came out, Apple basically said, hey, we're just going to make it easier for developers to convert their apps from iPhone to iPad apps with one click of a button. So you had all these apps already in development and they could make them work. So doing the same thing for developers, having a small to large screen in any format is an advantage, not having to wait. I don't know.
Yeah, but my take on it is that, I mean, with Apple, you got only certain amount of phones, so it's easier to code and make the thing for it. But Android, you got different sizes. You're gonna have different like form factor, affordable phones. So it's a matter of Android putting the base code to fit all in one. Because if you code for one screen and then do for another screen, that's too much work, you know. Unless they come up with something that you do like one for all, then it should be easier.
Yeah, I don't
But that's
know.
the key. That's the key problem with Android. Is I heard a couple of my friends that they are like into coding for mobile phones. They're like, this is why they hate doing Android because you got to do for different screen size. I don't know if that changed, but that was back in the days when they told me that. I just got rid of my Apple Watch 3. I got the 5 now.
Yeah, I had the 4, but um, I have the 4, and I don't see any reason in jumping up from that. The only thing the 5 really adds is a couple added sensors and that always-on display, but a lot of people are turning that off because it's affecting battery life so far.
Not really with the new update for me. Well, I had it like 4 or 5 days, and it's been fine and get me through the whole day. The only thing for me, since I use glasses, when it's at a certain angle, like you got glasses all my life, I can really see it. So it's defeat the purpose of having always display on because I got to move my wrist to look at it.
Yeah,
But
I
that's just
mean,
me. That's my case because I wear glasses. Not everybody's the same.
well, and I don't want, because with that always-on display, technically speaking, even though it goes dimmer, anytime a notification pops up, other people are going to be able to see your information. I like the
Oh,
idea
not
of you,
really.
you turn and look towards it and you're
Mhm,
focused on it. And just, I only want it on when I want it on. So, like at night, when I'm sitting here, if it's in the dark,
mhm.
I get that it's not as bright when it's in that mode, but I don't I don't know. I don't really see the advantage of it necessarily. It's like your
Well,
smartphone. You don't. I turn always on display off on my smartphone most of the time because
mhm,
if I want to look at it, I'm going to look at it. If it buzzes and I think it's going to be something important, I look. I glance. I tap the screen. I glance on it. If it's important, I check it. If it's not, I just let it go back to sleep. The idea of a smartwatch is it's that I get my notifications for when I don't want to look at my phone, but um most of the time, like even the examples they gave of like
mhm.
you're doing push-ups and stuff and you want to see without having to rotate, your arm's going to rotate anyways and you're going to see it, or you just tap it and you can
Yeah.
set it up to stay enabled for like minutes after you've tapped the screen, or I have it just set to go off within like 15 seconds, but I don't know.
But
to
you
me
gotta,
I
you got, oh,
To me, I didn't see
you
the
gotta.
advantage of switching. I have the 4, and I don't see an advantage
Okay.
of upgrading yet.
Well, I was coming from the 3, but they got a feature that when the notification comes, you're not able to see. It's like blur the notification. Nobody can see it until you put your wrist up. So really, in that aspect, you cover because nobody can see your notifications.
Yeah,
So, the, so I got the infograph. That's what I'm using. The infograph watch face for now.
I
And I
usually
got this.
just
It's a
yeah,
fake ass mini loop from Amazon, and it's working great because I like it this way. It's better the class.
I usually just use
Mhm.
That's better. I usually I have the one, and I have like down at the bottom I have battery life, I have my activity, I have the walkie-talkie shortcut, and then in the middle I have whatever's on my calendar, and then up at the top in those corners I have a quick shortcut to messages, and what's the other one? The weather, I think, something like that. So I like that you can have all those quick shortcuts there, and you can just quickly hit the button and let it go to whatever you want, basically. For a while I had a shortcut to my wife, so I could, if I wanted to message her, I just hit her, talk, send a message. But then I decided it was easy enough just to have a shortcut right to the messages and then hit her message. But I don't know.
And the reason that I got the cellular model since day one is because when I got it 2 weeks later, I had to dial number one and say my custom from a heart attack. So it was beneficial.
I used to have issues with my heart rate fluctuating, and I would pass out from laying down to standing up and things like that.
Wow.
So for me, to be able to monitor my heart rate with the EKG and the heart rate monitor and stuff, it's helping to be able to do that. So yes, I am multitasking.
And the thing that I want them to do is the bands to be smart bands to put different technology on the band, so you can have different stuff like monitoring, doing different stuff. Longer battery, that'd be good to have. See, this is what I like about Apple. It's not about doing it first. It's about doing it the best, and that's what I like about their technology. Because this is my third iPhone, and I've been with Android since day one. But I'm gravitating towards Apple because of the ecosystem, the ease of use, and the key word that I like is longevity with products. You don't have to keep buying products all the time. So therefore, you don't have to keep wasting money.
Let's see, Dr. Donald Walter. So for me, it was low heart rate, and then it also has not the phone, but the Apple Watch also has EKG function. So monitoring, obviously, you know what that is as a doctor, but monitoring the intake from your lower and upper and all that stuff. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where they're headed next. I want to see more advances. I'd like to see funny Note 10 as boss. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know bigger YouTubers than you do, and a threat like that is what's going to get you blocked and reported. So good day.
And sometimes it feel like we're going back to the cartoon that Jetson, because everything that cartoon had is coming to life little by little.
I agree. I mean, one of the things I've noticed and have issues with is that all companies kind of seem to be at this height point, and they're each year it's like, what more can they change once the cameras get as good as they have, like this year, and the displays are as good as they have, and video recording, you can get 4K 60 frames per second on all the lenses, like on the iPhones and stuff. And the charging can only get so fast before it becomes detrimental to the battery itself. I guess wireless charging can improve, and using graphene and things like that in these devices can finally improve. But I mean, I guess I see more minor shifts as we get to the summit of a lot of these technologies. And I guess cameras under the displays for Face ID and stuff like that would be pretty cool. So you have a bezel-less display, but you still have the technology that would be built into the bezel. Faster fingerprint scanners. But one thing I thought that was kind of funny that somebody brought up is that no matter the biometric technology you use, your smartphone is only as good as the PIN that you use. Because they always have a default PIN, like, oh, I can't use Face ID, so I got to put my PIN in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's until you can, and it would be dangerous to override that, because what if you override your PIN and then something is broken with your Face ID and you can't get into the phone? Like, that's the concern. Like, what if you broke your screen right across where the Face ID sensors are, and that's your only method of getting in, you're locked out? So I guess then maybe if that malfunctions, you have an option to hold button combinations or something that allows you another unlock method. I'm not sure, because like my phone is, I only use a 4 pin. I turned off the 6 pin because I don't want to have to type in a 6 pin. But then to me, it's not necessarily about that as much as, well, I don't have to type in a pin when I use like my banking app and like I log into my AT&T app or different things like that, because it recognizes my face instead of having to type in a long password. So that's where I see the advantage of that, where I don't mind having to type in a pin when I log in if I've shut off a device, and then Face ID can kick in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that the watch need to have like hands ID, so you don't have to depend on the phone to unlock it or put the pin all the time. Like it recognizes you when you put it or you move a certain way and unlock. If you don't have your phone with you, then you can unlock it real fast instead of putting the pin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I
I don't know what else can be done in technology because technology is so advanced. So I don't know what you can do with wearables or phones because they're plateauing. What else can you do? It will becoming follables, but how long is that going to go into that plateau? It's like with everything, you get to a certain point and it'll get flat line. So how can you prevent that? You know what I mean? What is the next logical step?
I I think maybe it getting more immediate. I think it's more like the software getting better, like Google has been doing, where when you speak and it transcribes things and it's almost immediate, being built into the device, I think what we're going to see is actually more technology making us not need to use the device.
Exactly what I was saying earlier.
Like, you won't have to touch it. More things of like using your voice. But one thing that I'm curious about that I expected companies to do already, since Siri's been around for a while, we're going on what, the third year of Face ID technology, is combined ability. So it has to interpret and understand your voice and understand that it's you and read your face. So somebody can't just hold up a picture. I mean, you can't really do that with Face ID anyways, but the combined of that, the only concern is what if you have a cold? Like, and your voice is messed up, it's not going to let you in. That's what I don't.
Yeah, but I got another concern. Did anybody try Face ID with twin people, like twin, to see if you can unlock the phone? I never seen that. That was I was thinking of that by now because you
Actually, I worked with a
never.
couple twins
Hmm.
and they tried it, and because I mean, to me they look close enough, but there was
Hmm.
enough minor discrepancies that the 30,000 points that it maps on their face, enough of them differentiate and wouldn't let one use it when the other had set it up. So,
Because the reason I was asking, I saw a YouTuber. This girl had the iPhone 10, right? And then her friend came, two different people, and they unlock it. He's no longer a YouTuber, but back in the day, he did a video about it. And then she unlocked it, and they only had one face. She took out her face and remapped it again to make sure, right then and there. And then the other girl tried and they unlock it. But why? If they're not siblings and they're not the same. So the system is broken a little bit.
well, here's the thing. I'll show you something in a second here, actually.
Hmm. But that was way back when there was the iPhone 10X. So
I don't know if you can
they,
see that,
hmm
but there's a thing, and it was actually in a version of iOS 12, and they brought it back in iOS
hmm
13, set up alternate appearance.
oh yeah, I have that on.
So you can do that. So, like, I could set up me so I could have my glasses on or off and enhance it. But I could also use that same thing and could set up my wife's face so she could get in my phone, and I could do that on her phone so I could get in hers. So the thing is, somebody could just be using that, and then it will look like they set it up all over again. So that's why two different people could get into it.
But see, on the actual video, that person it deleted everything about Face ID, and then she redid it again. So nobody, so she trying to make sure that it was broken. But by now it should be it's fixed because we're already in the third iteration. But
And
that was the first time that Face ID had come out.
and I would wonder how much editing went into that too. Like, because that's, people do that all the time. Because I've seen like people try to trick it, like in these full unedited
No,
live stream videos and stuff, and not be able to get it to work.
no,
So I don't
it
know.
wasn't edited. I know that person wasn't edited. It was just straight.
Hmm.
So
Weird. Maybe there was a glitch or a bug in that version,
yeah, because it was the first phone that came out like that. It was the iPhone 10. So I guess probably
or
was a bug.
I don't know. Could it have somehow caught enough of the one person enough to pick it up?
Or probably.
Like, you know, because I had the iPhone 10, and even that, there were times that I barely looked at that thing and it would unlock.
Mm.
So I don't know. That's what I see though. I see improvements in speeds of Face ID, because that's one thing I wish. I wish they would give you that method like Android devices have, where you can set it up so all you have to do is basically hold the device up, it sees your face and unlocks, and you don't have to swipe or anything. I get
Yeah,
why
but
they have it,
because
because
of notification.
yeah, so you can look at your notifications, you get those without going into it. But I just wish that they would give it as an option. Like, hey, I want to turn off that swipe to unlock. I want it to go right into the device. I wish that they would give that as an option even. And the fact that they don't kind of, I don't know. Because you can tap it, and if it doesn't see your face, it's just going to show your notifications, and then you hold it up, it sees your face and unlocks. Like, you could still use that. But I don't know. I think it's more, we're not going to necessarily see things get better, but faster. So, like, for example, on the new phone here, they brought night mode in, but a lot of times it takes at least a second. Sometimes it takes 3 seconds. I've seen up to 10 seconds to get that. What I can see in the future is that it's able to somehow, well, that's a hardware thing too. By having bigger pixels and letting more light in, it wouldn't have to take as much time. But it also has to do with how it processes each of those individual frames and blends them together, and how long that final step takes. Because it's basically, it's like it's taking video as like a long exposure, and then it puts multiple frames together, and that's why there's also better detail. Because even with like my DSLR, with a long exposure, the grain that's in there is pretty decent. So with a smartphone, with a small sensor that's in that thing that's like the size of the end of your pinky, it should be even worse. So what I wonder, so it's not just using one exposure, it's using what's called bracketing. So basically it's multiple exposures, but it's doing it as a long exposure. So it's like it's doing a video, and then it takes each frame and pieces them together so you get more detail because of it being dark out. Plus, you have the longer exposure. And it's that processing time that I can see them working on and speeding up in the future, especially given how well it's worked for a first generation version of it on the iPhone. And even other phones that have been doing it for generations have improved, but there's still a delay. Like, I've used it on my G8, and I'll watch that dial move as it's processing, and that takes a while, and you have to wait for it to process before you can take another one. And obviously, I don't ever see us getting to the point where, like, you have some kid, you have kids, and you go to take a picture and it's dark out. You're going to be able to freeze that, because unless somehow it combines, like, let's say your flash goes off and it captures that motion, and then it just pulls that part of the image out and then does the long exposure to get the detail on the other stuff and combines it. The problem is, anytime there's motion, because the exposure has to be long enough to get enough light in, you're going to have blur. And I don't think I see that ever being really perfected in a smartphone, because even digital cameras, that's really hard to do with
Yeah, that's, I
DSLR.
mean, it's true because smartphones can go on so much when you got so much of lighting because the sensor is small, only capable of a certain amount of lighting. What else can you do with that?
I mean, where they have the advantages is, even some of the high-end DSLR cameras, you have to go in and set up all these modes. Like, you'd have to go in and set the shutter speed, the ISO, how many frames you want it to grab, to do what's called bracketing, where, like, Apple does that automatically for their HDR and stuff, where it captures multiple frames at different exposures and then combines them all together. I mean, we're seeing that in smartphones. We've seen that for generations, but I don't get why we're not seeing that on actual high-end DSLRs. Like, you just hit one button and it recognizes the scene using software and then automatically brackets it. So it takes more time. That's where I see like the advantage in the smartphone technology is that it has all that compute power. It has that processor. The disadvantage is the sensor size. So
Yeah, that's true. It's all a combination, but the faster the better. It's gonna take longer, then it's gonna be a problem because sometimes you want to take a picture. I mean, it's like a waiting special event. If you with your smartphone, you don't got time to wait that process 3 seconds, 3 seconds. You know what I mean? Then you can miss the most important moments.
yeah, well,
For certain events, it has to be on point. It can be delayed due to the fact of depending on where you at and location and time and events and place.
and I mean that's the thing though. That's why where smartphones will never make it, and you're gonna have to have a digital camera, DSLR, high-end camera to be able to do this stuff because computational can only go so far. So, but well, I am going to call it a night. I've been on here for over 2 hours,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, I started right at 8 o'clock, so I'm tired. I'm keeping my wife up. She's tired. So
Uh,
um, thanks for coming on.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Have a good night. I'll post a link to your channel in my comments as well. If that.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks everybody for joining, and I'll have this in the replay. So anybody who wants to catch, like Tanna So Lit was on, and I had a few others that were on here earlier. I will be posting their links in my description. And thank you and have a good night.